People, Deluded, I'm back again. I can't lie, I haven't done the whole camera setup thing for a while. We've been doing live stream, it feels a bit weird. But it felt right that for my last DG thoughts, Deluded thoughts of 2020, we returned to similar settings. A lot of you have getting on to me and saying, yeah, I love the live streams, DG, but where's this, where you were just sitting there with no headphones? It's still there, you know. I'm all about growth and self-development. I'm also about making life harder for yourself. And this year I've taken more of an analytical approach, because when I look at it, I know I make decent content. I know I'm consistent and things like that. But I'm also conscious of the whole topic of working hard, not smart. I need to learn, for example, you know, this year I've been more analytical, looking at my analytics. What are they telling me? Who's watching my stuff? When are they watching it? How are they watching it according to the device? And, you know, towards the end of the year, with the whole rise of live streaming and things like that, that's where my YouTube channel is growing. Like, don't get it twisted, I love to sit here in front of a camera and say the exact same things I'm going to say on a live stream. But logically speaking, that's where I'm starting to get views. That's how I'm starting to get more subscribers. That's how I'm starting to obviously maneuver the YouTube algorithm. So why would I be silly as to not play upon that? You know, it seems like live streaming and crypto, and there's many, you know, working from home, there's many themes that have arisen in life as a result of COVID and things like that, sadly. And why make it harder than it needs to be? That's why I at least do you lot the courtesy of cutting up my live streams and giving you individual content. But it's about playing on things, really and truly. You know, this year, well, towards the end of the year, I've started really understanding about tagging YouTube vids. You know, tags are, I don't know how to explain them to someone who doesn't know, but tags are basically, when you type on YouTube, let's just say Deluded Gooner, that's a tag into that YouTube thing. You know, you can literally put that in your YouTube description. So obviously, in theory, if someone types in Deluded Gooner and I've put a tag of that, that should find that video. So that sort of stuff, you know. Obviously, my thumbnails are not elite yet, but the editing, we're getting there. Yeah, man, I've been really, this year I've really put in a shift, or towards the end of this year, really started to understand that, really started to understand what the data tells me and things like that, and structured my content around it, people. This year's been testing. Obviously, the biggest thing for me was, and I told myself, this was a goal for last year, was to quit my role and take YouTube full time, purely because for me, obviously, I'm not going to sit here and lie. I want financial freedom like everybody. Who doesn't want to wake up and you know, them, their mother, their family, they don't have to worry about the next bill. If the boiler breaks, boy, this has to happen and that's going to happen. Who doesn't want that? But at the same time, I want a life filled with fulfillment. You know, let's just say I was earning 80,000 on my YouTube channel and 80,000 at a job where I have to work 9 to 5. I'd rather work the YouTube channel, because first and foremost, it's mine. It's something nobody can take away from me. It's something I've built. It's something that together with you, look, we've got a good community. Second of all, you know, work-life balance will be there. You know, I can first and foremost leverage my time to do things that give me more fulfillment or allow me to earn more finances or become more skilled. And that's what I'm on. You know, YouTube isn't lucrative, at least for me, but it has provided some sort of finances that can support me here and there. Primarily, I'd say, what, 99% of all funds I've ever received off Google AdSense has been put back into this. You know, there's been times I've bought myself a Tesco's meal deal and things like that. You know, my savings, and, you know, you've got Deluded Gooner's money or YouTube's money, and then you've got my own savings. I don't mix the two. You know, we might get paid into the same bank account, which I need to really have a next one. But it all goes back into this, and it kills me because people say it on YouTube, my friends say it, they think you're up. Like, I am not up. If I was up, I'd vanish. You know, do you think I want to be here? If I ever get financially free, I'm disappearing, sort of thing. Not that I'm coming off the face of the earth or anything like that. It's just, there's no need to be here, sort of thing. Do you get it, people? So, you know, that's been challenging as well. You know, that's made me work 10 times harder. I've always been hard working. I made a good go of things, I think, when I was having the 9 to 5 and I was working. You know, you lot have made a running theme. You know, you lot that have rocked with me from the start, you can remember couple of times, 12 p.m, 1 p.m, that's when I'll go to make my lunch. That's when I'll go have my lunch break, find a little estate or a little side road or a little slip where I can bring out my camera, talk what I need to talk about, whether that's Arsenal, whatever, get back in. I wasn't editing too tough these times. I wish I had it. I'm actually talking on it. Getting my little memory card, putting it into my computer on the slide, make sure none of my colleagues can see, editing and uploading on the slide when I should be working. That's because, you know, for me, last year the theme was to take that risk, to take that risk. That was actually the theme I wanted to live by. Anytime that doesn't mean just get up and, you know, put all my life savings on a lottery ticket. What it means by educated risk, leverage these things. In my heart, I knew I was taking risks, you know, when I should be working, should be utilizing their time that they actually pay me. I know I should, and I know it's bad, but at the same time I thought, you know what, it's them or me, it's me or them. I've got to be ruthless. I know it's bad, but something in my heart is telling me, do it, you know, this is what you need to do, this is what you care about more, and things like that. And it got to the point I did a good way of kind of hiding it, you know. At work, they even, at my old job, they even found out about my YouTube stuff. They knew I did it, but they didn't know the scale it was to. And I'd always play it down, just because, you know, you've got to play a fool, you know. Don't make it, because from they know that you want to do this thing, they're going to start acting. And that's what happened towards the end, really. When I did say I was leaving, my manager, who I was quite cool with, or it wasn't actually my manager directly, but, you know, I actually liked the environment I worked in. It was a small team. Obviously, there was a hierarchy, but it wasn't actually a manager. It was just, I just call him that for want of a better phrase. But he was like, I could see it coming and things like that. I think you should take the push. It's almost like he was waiting for the day I would tell him that. And also there was times, you know, like I said, I made a good way of hiding it, but sometimes, you know, we talk in meetings, they'd be like, oh, when did you find time to do that or this? And I'm having to tell little white lies. They're saying things like, even a point they were concerned about it, really. And it kind of bugged me, because I get it, but at the same time, this is where you don't really understand people's intentions, because it's like when people could see it getting somewhere, they'd encourage it. They would, you know, I think the owner of the company, the boss, he was very, you know, it's a production company, and he's worked with True Geordie. That's how I found out about him. He's, you know, he's worked with Maya Jama. The company has worked with Maya Jama, a lot of emerging talents. So I thought, okay, maybe they're being a bit sweet. They can see I've got something here. They want to keep me in the loop for when obviously they can inevitably see that we're going to depart ways. But he would dangle little carrots, say, yeah, go and use, because at the time they were kind of paying the rent on the flat of Brian's flat, True Geordie's flat that they used, or contributing towards it, because obviously it was a relationship of mutual benefit. My company that I worked for was the production team. You had Brian, who knew the owner, and, you know, they linked up. It was a partnership sort of thing, and that's how I found out about him, in a sense of I got to know him and whatnot. But he'd always keep me sweet. Like I said, like I've told you lot previously, I was a production assistant, and I've worked on a lot of sets and things, and actually I think that was one thing this year. I've actually, you know, got to be in rooms with people. Funny enough, being in the room with this sort of stuff led to being with Hugh Izzy. Another sort of thing, like I'm seeing myself on Hugh Izzy's thing, on Rabona's thing. Obviously shout out to Rance, we're getting out there a bit. But back to it now. Like I said, I used to be a production assistant, and I used to deal with everything that happened in Brian's flat, really and truly, you know, everything at a point. I'm not going to sit here and lie. Everything to do with admin, I was there. I used to book the cleaners to come clean that, go to the flat, make sure they've actually done it, make sure they've actually been paid, or liaise with people who can pay them. Obviously, Amazon deliveries, primarily, like the whole setup of that flat, I was there for it, people, you know, and that's one thing I think, funny enough, it was being in a good space, because listen, shout out to Lawrence and Brian. I think they're amazing. Like they're just the little things that they might not think is help, it's been help. Like they're very two solid dudes. But just from being in that atmosphere, seeing, yo, alright, they like that lighting, that's why that's lighting there, that's why that camera's there. No, Brian only wants the best, Lawrence only wants the best. You got to see certain little things and tips and tricks and all of these sort of things. So funny enough, it worked out. But like I said, I used to deal with everything there in it. Not everything, I'm not going to talk like I was the owner or the boss or anything, but I used to work there a lot in it. Like my face was there, people. On a match day as well, I'll do a lot of running, so making sure there's snacks and utensils. Obviously actually patterning a lot of it included that, like even sometimes they had people that were flying in from other countries. Who do you think, with the company's ticket, with the company's credit card, who do you think booked these things, innit? I used to think it was quite cruel, man. I used to think God was shagging me to a degree, in a way that, like, I'm sat in a room like this. Next door is the whole YouTube thing going on. I can see people commenting, deluded this and that. I've seen people say, you know, Brian's tried to bring me on it and the owners flopped it. It's like, what on for this thing, you know? So like I said, I think they tried to, he would say little things, we're going off task, but he would say little things like, yeah, go and use that flat and do this. Oh, we need to get you to do this, you should do that. Like acting like he gives a crap, really. And I'm not saying he doesn't give a crap, because his commitment is to his company. But it's just little things, and it made me realise people's intentions. And at the back of my mind, truthfully, apologies, people. Truthfully, I knew in the back of my mind this wasn't for me. You know, I joined that company to be in situations like that because I felt I had an ego. You know, I'll never do this. I ain't doing this. Man can't make me do this. Man can't make me do it. I've still got that ego, but then I clocked that 4th Street shit isn't gonna get me nowhere. You know, I can still. That's who I am. You know, find balance and things, but you need to tame it. You need to know. You need to kind of, and that's one thing I think I've learned this year, when to kind of pattern off your pride, you know, your ego and things. And then I thought, let me pattern this, you know, this role really and truly is beneath, man. The pay isn't great, but it's not great, but I can work with it. And the sort of environment I'm going to be in, primarily it was football content, and then the contract that my company that I joined, they lost that football contract. So primarily I was living the dream, people. I'm literally being, and I still was to the end. Like, one of my last tasks was to find David Beckham goals for England and things. That was it was a wavy job. But primarily I was just watching football games and doing all of these things, and it changed and went left and right. But primarily it kind of helped me because it put me in certain areas or just being in rooms with people. And I think that's a big thing, you know. I would like, and that's one thing I realised I had something here. Clinton Morrison won't even remember, but he come up to me, he's like, I know you, the YouTube, boom, 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 this and that. You know, obviously bucked up Hugh Wizzy and that, and obviously I'm on his channel now, so it all worked out in a way. Advice from Brian and Lawrence, you know, Gio, who does the editing for Brian, is a cool brother as well. You know, just being in certain environments, Vukanich, just being around certain people and things like that, you know, that's one thing I learned. But in the back of my mind, I knew this thing worked for me, and it pushed me. There was a lot of times where man used to walk bro, I've done the Mazda, like, I remember once in Southampton, there was a set, I had to go and get something from a shop, a prop. People is pissing down, like, I've got caught lacking. I've got no jacket. It's a walking thing, innit? Because my phone's dying. I can't even get an Uber for the, apologies, I can't even get a company Uber because my phone's dead. You know, I'm walking, I've got bags, it's peeing down, my clothes are getting all kind of messed up. There was many testing periods like that, or walking with, because I think one thing that shagged me is being one of the only males in my role and being physically fit. Like, man had to, you know how much things man's lifted up and walked all up Oxford Circus and Camden. There was a point I could have been a black cabbie. There weren't a place I didn't know in Oxford Circus. It was physically demanding, and I don't think it was beneath, man. But I knew there was something more to me, whether that was trying to make this thing happen or more responsibility. And it felt like, for them it was good. It was like a short-term sort of fix tactically. You might have had a midfield, you might have had, it was a Bukayo Saka thing. You're playing him left, but in your heart you know he's a winger. You know he's a winger. You know he's meant to do this thing. But right now, his job is fullback, and I think that kind of, it worked, but it kind of crippled me. I knew there was more. You know, I actually turned down a very similar role, but a very well-paid role, one that I could have been doing a lot more. Maybe it could have helped here because I felt there was something to learn here, and I did learn a lot. You know, I learned a lot about lighting, about networking, little things that have helped. I'm not going to sit here and cap, but I knew I needed to leave up to really develop and be the person I wanted to be. Obviously, it's itching at you, you know. I've got savings. I've done what I needed to do with savings. Money don't last forever, but do you get it? Obviously, there's that one in your head like, oh, yo, you know, there's no safety net, because, you know, you can kind of mess up at work or just spend all your money, but you know at the end of the month it might be tough, but you're getting paid again. Now it's on me, and what I've always known, I've always been a hustler in the sense of I always like to make my own peas, have my own thing. I've always, like, if you can make £500 working for someone or doing your own thing by selling little couple stuff legally, I'm always on that, innit? Like, I'm very, I don't know, I like to haggle. I'm a bit like Arsene Wenger. Like, even when I go Caribbean, like, man, we'll just for the sake of it, bro, like, we'll be arguing over bag juice or the price of a coconut or sugar cane or something. Not because I'll give them the money they ask for 9 times out of 10. It's just that I get a buzz out of haggling and these sort of things. And I think indirectly through YouTube, I kind of get to do that because I have something I can build. You know, I have an addictive personality, I feel. When I like something, whether it's gym, football, this YouTube thing, I attack it head on. The other way around is, one thing I've admired, I can't do something that I don't give a crap about. I'm either full in or not. I can't. That's why even with working, I knew I knew I'd be here for a year or so, but I knew, yo, because I admire people like that. And I knew before I have any kids and whatnot, yes, I have to pay bills, I have to, you know, roof over my head and things like that, but there's not other people counting on me. And I knew I didn't want to be in a situation where I can do this now at 25, but I might be 26 and, touch wood, I ain't got money for a youth, but I could have a you know, things can change, and I kind of have to be in that sort of thing, you know. So I knew I had to take the leap, and it is scary financially. It is struggling. There's no promised land, you know. I'm not rich. It's extreme. I'm still to this day very anxious because again, I get paid last, you know. Finances, bills, you know, StreamYard costs money, Adobe to run costs money, there's things you see cost money, you know, there's a lot of expenses that kind of go into this thing, and the stuff I want to add to it and whatnot, I get paid last, to the point where it's tough. And you know, you have to swallow your pride, and after, you know, the whole GoFundMe stuff as well, after that restored my humanity in life, in a sense of, like I said then, if I pay for this equipment, I'm cool, but DG's not eating for a couple of months, literally, there's no food there for man. Probably have to rub some noodles or something to get it. Like, it's that mad. And to see someone donated, for instance, don't get it twisted, man. It was a lovely, listen, whether you donated £1 or 1,000 or whatever, I'm appreciative. But somebody saw my story and donated, what, two grand or so. To see that someone believes in my thing that much and sees that I'm not where I want to be, but they can see the thing, that's one thing that praises me, that I can't not be happy for, man. This year really, again, I've been a humble youth, but it's humbled me in a great way. I think I've learned a lot. I think I've had to deal with a lot of pressures, and I've responded. You know, I don't think I've had all the goals. You know, I haven't read all the books I've wanted to read. I think Corona's robbed me of a lot of qualifications and experience and exciting things I was going to do. You know, this year I've really spoke with scouts, with agents, with players, with ex-players, and I'm still building, and there were some exciting things to come, and it's been plucked away, but we still fight. You know, last year, or maybe even over a year ago, I told you, you know, there's a certain football club that, you know, reached out to me and was like, yo, come do this thing. I thought I was up. There's a certain company that thought, yo, certain sports company we all have to use to watch football said, yo, come do this and that. I thought, yes, everything I've ever worked for in these two opportunities, it's wavy. Both sucked away. This year, a lot of opportunities sucked away as well. And this year as well, even I've had to learn a lot. I've had to learn to keep my emotions. It's like I said, I've left my role, so any money is great money, to get it. But even when sponsors reach out to you, not that my line's banging, any sponsors, come get to work with, man. But I've really learned not to underprice myself, not to let your desperation for finances or anything get out there, because sometimes I've looked at things and I thought, yo, I could deal with that, and then I've read it, I'm like, no, I'm selling myself short. And that's one thing I learnt by speaking with Brian, with Lawrence, with Rance especially. Rance you can see he's a smart guy, but he's a smart guy, you know. Never underprices himself, and that's one lesson, the biggest lesson I learnt from him. Don't underprice yourself, no matter how peak it gets, sort of thing. So there's that, you know. So I think I've developed a lot, man. To sit here with 30,000 subscribers, for me, I can't fathom it, you know. The target was 30 by the end of the season. This time last year, I wasn't even on 20. In fact, I hit 20,000, which is another milestone in itself this year. I think when I looked at the analytics, I've grown just about 12,500 people. That's a madness if you look at people. That can fill up a flight. But for me, I look at how can I make it 20? How can I make it 30? How can I keep working in smart ways so I can exploit the YouTube algorithm? And like I said, working hard is one thing, but also working smart. How can I move away with YouTube? You know, I've started the podcast. You know, Twitch, I'm going to put a lot of work into it next year. How can I grow other things? Because my thing is, if YouTube gets locked off, well, go on for this thing. If Twitch gets locked off, well, go on for this thing. And I can't lie to you, I think this year's shown you can't really rely on one income. So for me, you know, the little income YouTube might provide, Twitch might do a little thing, you know, there's all sorts of affiliate programs. This is all designed to put back into this, because I really want this thing to be professional. I want to look back at videos like this and say, you really built this, you really did something. And I think I have. I feel this year we've started a podcast. This year we've grown 30,000 subscribers. We've again been nominated for awards and not won. One goal of mine was to win the Football Blacklist Awards, people, and I can't lie, I was initially quite shocked and kind of vexed that I couldn't win. It's like, how can I have not have won this? I've been putting in work. And then I stopped. I was like, why are you angry? It's your ego. It's your ego. Pattern up. And this is right now, I say I ain't putting that on my goals for this year, you know. Now, forget, and I thought to myself, why do you want awards? You know, you don't need no award. You know your thing is 30. People believe in you. You know who you are. You know, all awards are validations, you know. Then I started thinking I was like to myself, it's not football. It's not winning a league or winning a cup. So why do you care? And I was like, forget all of this sort of thing. And then I realised it's probably a stitch up and people voting for brethrens and that. And when I look at it as well, this year, do you know when I really deep that I was doing something, people? And it weren't my own interview, but through going to USM's offices, I spoke with Zola, and Zola was saying I'm asking him good questions, and he was tongue-tied. Like, listen, I'm an Arsenal fan, but Zola, like, come on now, like, Zola is here talking to me about football. We're not talking about, like, what's going on in the Premier League. We're talking about, you know, first touch, what is a good football. We're talking about that Arsene Wenger sort of stuff, the things that I would talk about with Wenger, that sort of football at a deeper level. And I'm taking it all in. I'm mad enthusiastic. I'm probably asking too much questions, but I'm there, gassed that I'm speaking to him. But at the same time, I'm taking in everything he's saying, but I'm there, I'm like, no. And I don't get starstruck people. I'm like, yo, this is Zola, you know. Like, in my head, I'm looking at him, I'm like, no, this is Zola, you know. This is a Mazzolini, you know. And then there was that. Obviously, I'd like to thank every Arsenal young player I've spoken to. Charlie Patino, Nathan Butler-Adeji, Tyrese John Jules, formerly Sam Greenwood, now of Leeds, Ben Cottrell on the written content, Kion Edwards, Brooke as well, right back, Amari Hutchinson, Herbert the keeper, who else I've spoken to? Bare Arsenal young players. If I forgot you out, please, never underappreciated. There's actually been a couple that got flopped as well. Speaking with, whether they're young pros or not, speaking with shout out to the Secret Scouts, interviewed Wayne Routledge. This is, you know, I've sat there, I'm like, yo, man can do this thing. Spoke with, what's his name, David Jones from Sky Sports. He said I've got potential and things like that. He didn't reply to my email after selling a man dreams about emailing him, but he said that, so it makes me think there's something there. And also I've had to learn how to react from defeats, because there's been hella interviews that, you know, I've done I've actually had interviews done. They can't come out because clubs have said this and that, or, you know, agents might have said this and that, or, you know, I've reached out and it hasn't come out. There's plenty of L's, or like a couple of times the players are on it. More time the players are on it. It's the clubs that say no, and I get it from the clubs, but it's like, damn, like, man can't, pardon me, catch a break. Like, it's not gonna get anywhere. But then I thought, let me keep fighting. And for me, I don't know, I've never wanted to blow my own trumpet, but I looked back at my old videos, even my old ones. I'm talking about Bukayo Saka, and I'm like, bro, you look like one nervous wreck, you know. So to see my own personal development, I'm proud of myself, but it gives me hunger to pursue more. I want more. Like, I had to realize in life, there's nothing wrong with wanting more. I used to feel guilty about that, and that's how they twang you in society. There's nothing wrong with wanting more. You know, I don't want to take from nobody else's plate. Me succeeding don't mean I have to decrease someone else's thing, but I want it all, and you lot have really put a spring in my step this year, people, and I want to thank all of you lot, people, because without DG Nation, it would all be a myth. So I'm ready to go. Like, I feel I've accomplished a lot, people. I've reached out to people, spoken with people, and now I'm knowing them on a first name basis. You know, we've done the youth content, and not just Arsenal, but other youth players as well. It makes me feel there's something here. You know, I'm still trying to define myself, still trying to define exactly what I want to do, still discovering myself, but I'd feel, and above all, I'd feel 10 times happy. Like this year, last year, I was pretty happy, but I was in a different sort of headspace. This year, I feel like nothing can break, man. You know, and I've had bare L's this year. Bro, just the other day, man, lost my wallet, fam, finessed. Someone even tried to use my card. Obviously, shout out to Lloyds. Bang, boom, blast. You know, making sure that I didn't get shaked. But it's like, alright, cool. Man lost a change in it. I was like, it's an L, it's stupid. It was like, alright, how did I lose that? I was lacking. I should have put my thing away. I was vexed. It's like, how can they be so greedy? They found a healthy sum to find in a wallet, and you're still trying to use man's card. But it's like, that was a reminder to me how ruthless life is. Don't slip up. People will take things. You come from 4th Street where people ain't got nothing, so this is what they're on, you know. Bare L's, you know. Laptops breaking, equipment breaking, you know. How many cameras have I ran through? How many different lights have I had to buy and we're still not there? Do you know how much L's I've had to take this year? But I feel it's how you take the L's, because I'm definitely not winning. But it's like, it sounds cliche, but they're all lessons. It's like, what can I learn? You know, rather than blame things or people and stuff, whether they're valid or not, what can I do to take accountability of this thing first? You know, whatever destination we arrived at, how did I contribute on this journey, rightly or wrongly? And these are the sort of things, man. And I just feel raring to go, people. I just feel nothing can break, man. You know, right now, for me, it's not a nice time to be around. People are losing jobs. People are losing their lives. You know, we're locked up, boxed up, really. There's every reason to be pessimistic. And I'm quite a pessimistic person in general. I'm not even pessimistic. I call myself a realist, but I don't think that's the term. It's like, I'll look at all the positives and all the negatives and bring them into a balance sort of thing. But it's like, I just see opportunity. I just see hunger. Like, I'm not watching what everyone, listen, it don't matter if someone's got 1 million subscribers, £1 million, whatever. I'm not concerned with what a next man or woman's doing. I just see someone in the mirror, which is me, and I see the person I can be in the future. I see where I am now, and I just want to aggressively move to that. How quickly can I get there? You know, how quickly I want to sit here next year. You know, somehow we've stumbled on 30,000. What can I do to get to 60 and beyond? What can I do to obviously improve my situation financially and spiritually and mentally? How can I just boss up in any sort of way? That's the only thing I'm on. So next year is more of the same. I have got some goals. For me, I don't like to talk them into existence too tough, but obviously expand the subscribers. Obviously keep, you know, Twitch is one of them. I've said it. Try to get to 60,000 subscribers. Keep moving. Try to make some progress with the podcast. Try to keep getting different interviews and things. Just testing myself, testing the water, seeing what I can and can't do. There's no barriers to this thing, you know. There have been some things I haven't hit. We mentioned the kickoff. Didn't get to go on that. We mentioned, you know, footy blacklist, which I think's an L. One thing I wanted to do is actually be on a, you know, actually do something with Ian Wright, and that thing hasn't happened. So it's like, I don't think any of these things are going to be on my next year's one, because it just, things change. Like, I definitely don't know why I put the football blacklist or the content award winner on my list of goals, because right now I cringe, but I just feel nothing can stop me now, you know. Even at the Zame Zola event, you know, speaking with Harry Kane's agent, speaking with Mikel Antonio Townsend, it made me feel, yo, YouTube is one thing too, but man, feel like I should be in football in some way, you know. I feel like there's something for me there, but it is what it is in that regards, people. I'm gonna get out of here, man. So yeah, man, I'd like to say thank you for your support throughout 2020. You know, I hope you continue to support me, and I'm gonna continue to rise. I'd like to wish you all a fantastic 2021. You know, I really appreciate your support. Without you guys, nothing is possible. And like I said, we're sitting here on 30,000 this time next year. Who knows? And you know, Rome ain't weren't built in a day, but for the next 365 days, some bricks, some mortar, something's gonna get built, because I want to achieve, people. Like, I feel you've got to be successful as much as you want to breathe, and it sounds cliche, but I genuinely want that. Like, there's not much things apart from my soul and all of that bookie stuff. There's not much things, and the obvious, there's not much things I won't do for success. Like, my goals keep me up at night. The anxiety of not reaching them goals, and obviously the fear of failure. Obviously, like I said, self-employed, it's all on me now. You know, there's no boss. There's no way of, there's no, you know, if you're in a job, you can be, you know, this guy, and then you advance and might become manager and things like that. How do I progress this sort of thing? It's all on me. And that's why, you know, you either sit back passive or you be reactive. And this year I've had to learn, I know you lot don't see it, but to take breaks, you know, take breaks, try other things, you know, because making content is one thing. It's what you're doing when you're not making content that could be the other. And also looking after my mental, people. You know, people don't see it, but us YouTubers go for it. We're human like everyone else. And I'd say, look after my mental. I do a good way of hiding it. Maybe I like to think I'm quite emotionally intelligent, but I'm not the guy that's ever going to talk about my problems with people. Man said people, something. You lot always love me to say people, and I said it right there. But you get the point, man, you know. In short, thank you for your support. I wish you all a prosperous 2021, financially, spiritually, mentally, health as well. Health is more important than anything, really and truly. So yeah, man, thank you for all your support. Kicking up the tripod. Hopefully we'll be in a proper office space, because I think I'm outgrowing this. You know, that's one reason the lighting can't get better. You lot can't see, but there's physically nowhere to put the lights where they stand up. This doesn't go back much. This table don't go back much. Behind you lot is actually a bed. So if I was to actually, there's only so far. Look, I can't push you lot back any further. So it's like, I think I've outgrown this now. I need a little office or something, but that's not going to pay for itself. So we keep progressing, people. And yeah, man, like I said, hopefully this time next year we can be in similar spirits. We can be, you know, still celebrating. And yeah, man, shout out to you lot. But DG, I'm out, man. I can't lie. It's New Year's. It's time to back off that Henny, you know. Thank you very much for your support. And like I said, man, I'll be back tomorrow. You know, it's Deluded podcast out. First one of 2021. It's going to be Friday. We've got the Arsenal preview as well. Arsenal versus, this escaped me, we're playing West Brom versus Arsenal preview. Better yet, people. So 2021 is starting fast for me, and I've got to be at it, and you know, I've got to do what I need to do to get to places. And if you haven't reached your goals, because I haven't reached all of mine, we just go again. Simple as. Setbacks happen. It's how you respond to that. We're not going to feel sorry for ourselves. We're going to keep moving. God bless you lot, people, for all your support, and I'll be back again. But last DG thoughts of 2020, I'm out.